15 of our NFL prediction series here, and as you all might have recalled last week, there was another bet made. Buccaneers Saints. How did that go for you, Gerald?
Was the pizza delicious? Yeah. Changed up from cheese sticks to pizza. Was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, pepperoni, sausage, mushroom, good stuff.
What's your favorite?
Yeah, that game didn't really go the way we thought it would, though. Very low scoring, a lot of defense. It's pretty crazy. So, where are we at with our scores?
I'm still in the lead, 99 and 76. You're right behind me with 95 and 80. And Ross, 43 and 30.
Yeah, too bad Mr. Expert hasn't been on the show the past couple of weeks.
But he will next week.
We look forward to having him back. So what's our first game?
First up, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to New York to take on the Jets. I'm going to go with the Dolphins with a victory.
I'm also going to go Dolphins, and the reason mainly is Bryce Petty, replacement level quarterback. Actually, maybe not even good enough to be considered replacement level. I don't know what he's doing starting for them right now. But I think they don't have much going for them, the Jets, other than the defense, and Bilal Powell's doing pretty well, but I think the quarterback's going to hold him back in this one, and I think the Dolphins can come away and get a victory.
I mean, to be honest, Dolphins don't have much of a quarterback either in Tannehill.
That's true. So I guess we're relying more on the running game than their defense, but it is an away game for them, so it's no lock, but I expect the Dolphins to do well here.
Yeah.
And Ross is going to go with the Dolphins as well.
All right. Next up, Tennessee Titans travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. And I believe Marcus Mariota and the Titans are going to continue to roll when they go into Kansas City.
Well, I think the Titans, although they won last week, it was pretty close against the Broncos. Chiefs are a tough test, have the home field advantage here, so I will go with the Chiefs.
The Titans might pull off an upset. I don't think a lot of people are pretty much picking them to win, so I'm going to go with them. I think they got something here.
Okay. And Ross is going to go with the home favorites, the Chiefs.
Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I wish in a world that the Bengals could beat the Steelers. I really do. I want them to win, but they're not. So I'm going with the Steelers.
So this is an interesting one. A.J. Green, they're expecting may come back for this game, but they also think he's still got the hamstring bug in him. So even if he plays, he may not be 100%. I think all things considered, the Steelers have the better shot to win this one, so I'll take the Steelers. And Ross is also going Steelers.
All right. Next up, Detroit travels to New York to take on the Giants. And I'm going to go with the Lions. Yeah.
Any particular reason?
No. I think the Lions are going to go for victory this week.
Okay. So I'm going to go with the Giants here. Home field advantage plus, if I recall correctly, they're coming off a win against the Cowboys, aren't they?
That's true. Momentum.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with I'm going to go Giants. I mean, can they keep that momentum rolling? We'll see. They got the home field advantage. But Lions are playing good football, too.
They've been playing really good.
So we'll see what happens. Both teams with a comparable record. But I'm going to go with the home team on this one. And Ross is going with, that's interesting, the Lions.
Smart man. Next up, the Colts travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. This is a interesting game that I'm excited to see. I think it's going to be a decent game, and I think Andrew Luck is going to pull off a good road victory here.
I'm going to go with the Vikings here. They have the better defense, and, you know, the Colts are actually coming off a loss to the Texans.
Looking for redemption.
They are, but I just don't think they're going to get it. I mean, granted, the Vikings are rolling out Sam Bradford and a shaky running game, but, I think all things considered, Vikings, that defense, home field, I like the chances.
Who's Ross got?
Looks like Ross has got the Colts on this one.
Next up, the Jaguars travel to Houston to take on the Texans, and I have little to no hope in the Jaguars, especially away, so I'm going with the Texans here. Though Brock Osweiler is so disappointing.
Jaguars are a 2-win team. We don't really need to spend much time on this one. Again, unless they're playing a bottom-of-the-barrel team like the Browns, not much of a chance I'm going to pick him for a week. And let's see what Ross is doing. He's also going to go with the Texans.
Next up, in probably the coldest game of the week, the Green Bay Packers travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. And I think Aaron Rodgers is looking good lately. I think the Packers are going to get a good victory here.
Yeah, so who are the Bears rolling out a quarterback? Like Matt Barkley or something like that? I mean, like,
wait,
you thought it was Jay Cutler, now they're going with another guy.
Did Matt Barkley go to USC? I think that's where he went.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So they've rotated through, what, like 2 or 3 quarterbacks this season? Yeah, I mean, again, divisional game, anything can happen. They got the home field advantage, but I'm also going to go with Packers on this one. And Ross is going to go with the Green Bay Packers as well.
Next up, pending RG3 doesn't get injured in practice this week, the Browns and RG3 will go to Buffalo to take on the Bills. And I think the Bills at home, again, the Browns are not going to win another game this season. I don't care who's at quarterback. It's the Bills here.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Bills. No upset alert on this one.
No upset alert.
You know, the home field advantage for the Bills. But really it just comes down to, you know, do the Browns have enough offensive firepower to break through and win a game?
I don't think they do. Like, I mean, who do they have? I mean, no.
They got Pryor, they got...
But that's one man.
They got some okay running backs, but yeah.
Pryor is one man, and he's probably looking for a trade at this moment. No, like, the Browns are literally an abysmal organization, which I wouldn't be surprised if they were sold in about another 5 years. Would not be surprised.
Somehow they still keep having fans come to games, but...
Somehow. I don't know. Like, you must be selling them tickets for like $2 a piece. Like, what? Who goes to these games?
And we all know that's not a good business model.
No.
Let's see what Ross has to say about this. And, of course, it's the Bills.
Tyrod Taylor, man. Hey, he was the Ravens once upon a time. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles come to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, who are looking for some huge redemption after a pretty tough loss against New England. The Ravens are going to come through it, and they're going to beat up on the Eagles. I have no question. Defensively wise, they're going to win. Offensive, I have a lot of questions, but defensively, we're going to beat them up.
Right, that's the real question here. Is like, can you really see the Eagles scoring that many touchdowns in this situation? I mean, like, I think like the game script for the Eagles to win, it would have to be one of those really low-scoring defensive kind of games, and somehow they pull it out. I don't see it going that way, really.
If the offense doesn't show up again, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we got 2 of those touchdowns last week. Baltimore got 2 of those touchdowns against the Patriots on fluke special teams play. It wasn't Joe Flacco. I don't trust him as a quarterback. I'm sorry. I have a lot of questions about the Ravens offense right now, but the defense, they're solid enough to hold this game, and as long as the offense can at least run the ball a little bit, they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason I'm going with the Ravens here is that the Eagles, you know, we looked at Carson Wentz early in the season and we were like, wow, he's impressing as a rookie, but there's been a big slump since then. I don't know what's going on, but they can't seem to win games lately. Coming into M&T Bank Stadium, I mean, that's a tough test.
That's a tough place, yeah.
And we got Ross taking his home team, the Ravens.
Naturally. Next up, the 49ers travel 3,000 miles to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, and they will not win yet again. Falcons with a victory here in the Georgia Dome.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons, too. You know, the 49ers, I really thought they had a shot to win last week against the Jets, but they're proving me wrong. You know, they just can't seem to win. Still with just the 1 win on the year. Against my Rams, unfortunately, but
all teams.
But yeah, I mean they're not getting it done, are they? So
no.
You're not going to bet against the red hot Falcons right now.
No.
So
especially at home. Yeah, not at home.
And Ross, of course, playing it safe, going with the Falcons as well.
Next up, the Saints travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Saints this weekend. I just like Drew Brees. I mean, he's a solid quarterback. He's a legend. He's a future Hall of Famer, and I think he's going to get a victory here.
Yeah, but, I mean, did he even throw a touchdown pass last week? I mean, he's in a slump, too, it seems. I'm never going to write off the Saints entirely because we know what the offense is capable of on its best days, but I'm actually going to go with the Cardinals here.
Are you?
Yeah. And Cardinals, I mean, again, their defense has gotten worse over the course of the season. Like, they started off really hot with the defense, then they've getting exposed lately, but I think all things considered, they have a more complete team and got the home field advantage. I'll go with them. And let's see what Ross has to say. Interesting. He's actually going with the away team, the Saints.
Awesome. Next up, the Raiders travel to San Diego to take on the Chargers. And again, I like this Raiders squad. I've liked what they've been doing this year. They've had a couple of bumps, but I mean, I don't see this as a loss for them. They're going to get a victory here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Raiders too, and there's questions about whether Melvin Gordon's going to play or not. And, you know, if he's not playing and they got one of the backup running backs out there, that's going to really hurt the Chargers. Chargers already pretty beat up at receiver. Of course, we all know very early on the season they lost Keenan Allen. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, and it can end up being close, but I like the Raiders here. And Ross also likes the Raiders for this one.
The New England Patriots, screw Tom Brady, travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Who knows who's going to win? The Patriots.
It's another one of those games where you just ask yourself, Broncos, I mean, they have a great defense, but can their offense keep up? And we just don't really believe they can.
Ravens had a good defense too, and Tom Brady picked them apart like the practice squad.
Well, you know, and on the other flip side of the argument, Patriots going on the road for this one, that could make things worse, but I still have to give them the edge and pick them for this game.
It would be the Patriots' game to lose, going away to Denver, of all places, which is a tough place to play in general. But, again, Patriots.
And Ross, well, he's going to take the Patriots also.
Nice. Next up, the Buccaneers travel to the angry Cowboys in Dallas. Cowboys came off a pretty tough loss, and they're mad. I expect them to come out guns blazing, and Ezekiel Elliott putting up probably about 200 yards rushing this week. Cowboys with victory.
So I think this game could actually end up being close and interesting just because the Buccaneers, their defense, all of a sudden, the past couple weeks have been really stepping up, actually like holding teams to a small amount of points. Then again, last week, their offense didn't do as well as I thought they'd do. So I think all things considered, though, the Cowboys, they got home field. Like you said, they're pretty fired up after losing that last game against the Giants. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here.
Okay, for a second I thought you were going to go for the Bucs and we had to put a bet on this one. I thought for a second.
No, I can't. I'm not going to go that far. And Ross, he's going to go with the Cowboys as well.
All right. Next up, Monday Night Football. Carolina Panthers travel to D.C. to take on the Redskins. Why is this a primetime game? I mean, the Redskins are decent, but why?
I mean, don't they set the primetime schedule
guess,
before any of the games happen?
I guess. I mean, what's your best game? I mean, I guess nobody expected the Panthers to be this bad, but the Redskins are winning. Redskins are winning at FedEx Field. I don't have any doubt.
The only reason I could think of to go with the Panthers here is just that, like, the Redskins, for whatever reason, are playing better on the road than they are at home this year. And it's kind of a weird, maybe it's a weird aberration.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything behind it, but even with that out there, yeah, I still prefer the Redskins for this game. And, I mean, interestingly enough, the Panthers are one of the worst teams at covering tight ends. I think Jordan Reed has a big day in this one.
Oh, yeah. Really big game.
And Ross is also going with the Redskins for Monday Night Football. So that's going to do it for Week 15. Just 2 weeks left in the regular season. Then we're going to figure out who has the best prediction record for the regular season. It's going to be interesting. But for right now, that does it for our show.
And don't forget to tune in next week where we actually take a look into the Steelers versus Ravens rivalry with guest star Jimmy Herring. Ross will be back. We'll have a full table next week and got a pretty good show for you next week. Stay tuned.